Okay, Sokuto or Yokogeri. There are a multitude of ways of doing this Keri Waza. Again, in Wado-Ryu, we train, up and down the room, doing Sokuto. So I learned one way, or either two ways, or either three ways, or either four ways of doing Sokuto. So the one thing I did really appreciate when I did go and train with the Shotokan guys was that they actually trained either behind and did the Sokuto, or they stepped in front and did their Yokogeri, which made sense to me because if you're sparring with somebody, they're attacking from there, it's usually a Mai-geri or a Mashi-geri. Yeah, you wouldn't jump and then do a Sokuto to the side. Sokuto is if you're being attacked from here or you find yourself in a sideward position. Maybe you've had a foray in sparring and you move to the side, they're here, then you use your side kick. Same here, when you're doing your Shirogeri. Maybe you push back. You don't do this in fighting, in sparring, because you've shown your back. Usually it's bum, 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 and you can be used more of a defensive technique. There's only two people that I've ever seen score with Shirogeri when sparring or fighting. That was Takamizawa Sensei, and the other one was a friend of mine from down Temple days. I believe he's living in the Bahamas now, Humphrey Arnett. So if you're out there, Humphrey, hi. Yeah, so I've only ever seen two karate exponents actually score with Shirogeri. Yeah. So coming back to Sokuto. Sokuto is actually the knife edge of the foot. But you can do, we'll go through the range of them, a Mai Sokuto. And I was only shown this a few years ago by Katsutaka Sensei when we was at the winter course. And I found it quite enlightening. So he was watching for a Keri to come in, right? Okay, so he would side slip slowly and he would go into their joint using Sokuto. So Sokutogeri was a Mai Sokuto. Next way is to Takamizawa Sensei would be moving his body and lifting and Yokogeri. So he would train, even though he was training up and down the room, he would take time to move the body up and then do the Keri, do Sokuto. Biggest thing that came out of that was, it wasn't this. That ends up to be doing a knee Mashi-geri using a Sokuto foot. Sokuto is a thrust and Kyagi, but you have to be in a sideways position. So doing it this way made sure that your foot came to the other side of the centre line. But then the two hinge to work together to be a stamping technique or a thrust or Kyagi. The other one is when you change your Mai Sokuto into your Yokogeri. So here, but then you thrust in. With the Mai, then thrust when you've practiced those, and again in the association that I belong to, we try and again use Yoko Okuriashi, so as then we can do the Sokuto. So again, it would be, you would be moving. So I'm positioning myself to use a sidewards keri. Yeah? Again, moving, maybe covering this hand or the other hand, whichever, but move. Move. And Sokuto. Try not to think you've just got to do these keris in a linear motion. You need to try and position your body to do the Sokuto.